What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm going to be back today with more Danmachi. And guys, today we've got a good bit to discuss here. Now, we do have a brand new banner incoming, this banner incoming tonight, and I do actually really like these units. So let's go ahead and get into a quick discussion about them, and then we'll talk about the banner and how you probably want to approach this, okay? So, first things first, we will talk about Ilia. This is only our second Ilia unit in the game. Now, here's the thing I will tell you guys. If you do not have Ilia, you probably do want to get at least one of her. The reason I say that, if you guys have ever seen any of my videos on CP rewards, each unit's going to grant you, I mean, even early game, up to 150 CP just to get them to level 15 in the CP reward list. So 150 CP, or I'm sorry, 150 Iris just for getting them to level 15 in the CP rewards, which takes like nothing. It's literally 25 of even the small CP items to get that reward. It is literally nothing. And if you actually buy their whale bundle, which I'll get into here in a few moments, it'll be even easier than that. But if you do not have an Ilia, and if you do not have an Epimetheus, you probably do want to get at least one of them. Now, before you go summoning, listen to the whole spiel on them. But first, I'm going to cover what they do, okay? So for Ilia, we've got her HP is 3611, her MP is 425, her agility is 1206, and actually, her endurance being 598 is not bad. So while she's a little deficient on the HP side, her endurance side kind of makes up for that in quite a few ways. Like, she's got a lot of endurance for a magic unit. Now, magic attack is 2011, which is really substantial for a magic unit. But as I said before, she is time limited. That means basically if you don't get her now, you're not going to have another opportunity for probably another year. So you do, well, there will be other opportunities, but they'll all be paid. So you do probably want to get her, at least, if not now, sometime during these reruns. And we'll go over here in a few minutes how that might be possible. But skill 1 for Ilia is a 41 MP cost, foe singular, high fire magic attack with ultra and guard rate, temporary great magic boost, and allies heal status ailments. She gets rid of all status ailments. Kind of nice. Now, that is her single target attack, though. That is basically what you normally see skill 3 for most units. Skill 2 is a 96 MP cost, foes plural, slow, low fire magic attack with ultra and counter rate, and agility down 35%, AoE damage taken plus 30%. Now, we talked about how agility down 35% is great, AoE damage taken 30% isn't the best, but it's not bad. And it is 4 turns. She does 4 additional actions. That means turns 2, 3, 4, and then 5. She's going to get, along with a regular attack, a foe's plural low fire magic attack, removes HP regen. So any HP regen on your opponents is gone. And allies remove penetration rate debuffs. So she's really good for wargame, like substantially good for wargame. Skill 3 is a 99 MP cost. Allies, fast, remove guard rate and AoE damage taken debuffs. Physical resistance and magic resistance plus 35% for 1 turn. Only 1 turn. And foes, plural, remove guard rate and AoE damage taken buffs. Magic resistance and physical resistance both down 35%. So she's a really substantial wargame unit who I don't think is going to be undermined anytime soon. And she's really kind of there to take apart your ailment teams. Your ailment teams kind of lose a lot in her presence. Now, that's mostly with her skill 1, which isn't going to go off terribly often, but there's a lot of things that's really good about this unit. She's a stall breaker. She's an ailment breaker. She's just all around very good for your wargame team. Now, her SA is a foe's plural ultra fire magic attack with ultra and guard rate, great temporary magic boost, stun and seal both 50%. 50%. So literally, it's flip a coin. Your opponent's either stunned or sealed. I mean, the 50% chance of either one, really. But, like, you know, let's be honest here. With a 50% chance, it's probably going to be one or the other. There's an outside chance, like a 25% chance it won't be either one. But you got really good odds. Really, really good odds there. Okay? Now, passives. We didn't talk about passives yesterday. When countering, instead of attacking, foes, plural, extend status debuffs by 1 turn. So all debuffs on your opponents will be extended when she counters. 45% wind resistance. That's really big. That's normally like 35%. 45% wind resistance, 35% magic endurance, agility, and dex. All skills 35%. 8% MP and HP regen per turn, and 20% magic and physical resistance. So she's not a tank per se. I mean, she is kind of a tank. She's like a magic tank, which is never going to be as good as like your physical tanks, but she's going to stand the test of time. And what's really nice about this is, even if you don't have her maxed out, which obviously if you're really going into a war game, you're going deep with her, you will want her maxed out anyway, but you don't necessarily have to have her to maxed out to last a turn or two. So just a really interesting unit. I really adore this build. Okay, now let's discuss Epimetheus. Epimetheus, 3797 HP. Physical attack is 2125, so a really, really, really strong hitter. Not so much in the HP department, but 680 on endurance is going to make him really, really rugged. Looks like we're getting into the meta now of like just crazy weird tanks. 1023 agility, so he's going to be pretty quick. Not a speed demon, but pretty quick. But 1002 on Dex is an interesting stat. There's a lot of things Dex does, but he's going to be really counter heavy and probably crit and penetration heavy. So, you know, a pretty solid unit, but his skills are what make him really, really, really interesting. So, with Epimetheus, his skill 1 is a 46 MP cost, foe singular. Once again, he's built upside down. This is normally the AoE attack, or normally the skill 3 attack. Super light physical attack with alternate guard rate, temporary great strength boost, allies 25% HP regen for 1 turn. Now, remember, if he's facing Ilia, that's not going to be a thing, but skill 2 is a 57 MP cost, foes, plural, super light physical attack with ultra uncounter rate, temporary great strength boost, physical resist down 35%, AoE damage taken plus 35%, remember, Ilia's is 30%, and 4 turns, allies 25% HP regen. I'm sorry, no, let me take that back. Allies HP regen 25% is for 1 turn, the AoE damage and physical resistance are for 4 turns. My apologies, I read that wrong. So, interesting stats there. Skill 3 is a 256 MP cost, which means you're getting this off once. That's it. Is a strength and light attack damage 70%, ailment resistance plus 90%. Remember we talked about with Ilia, with that SA, she's basically got like a 50-50 chance, more or less, of hitting you with something. Actually, more like a 75% chance of hitting you with an ailment. He takes that down by 90%, so he was the rare one that probably won't take much from her. That ailment resistance is for 5 turns, as is the strength and light attack damage buff. 3 additional actions, foes, plural, low light physical attack, allies. If HP is equal to or greater than 10%, then he'll basically grant a one-time KO save. That's really substantial. And the fact that it happens 3 times means you've got a lot of KO saving going on here. Your units could save. That really, really could make the difference, especially in Wargame. I mean, especially in Wargame. So very interesting. Because if you think about it, if that extra attack goes off, right? And your opponent, your team gets hit with a big AoE attack. And it's like a death, it's a death throw, deadly attack. You know, let's say for the sake of argument, Aphrodite's attack, where she's, you know, got you charmed, and that's actually a good point with Ilia and her ailment removal, but neither here nor there. Let's say for the sake of argument, you're charmed. It's not been removed, and Aphrodite hits you for that 150%. Your units could survive that, and then Haruhime could counter and heal them. Then on the next turn, they could survive another KO attack from Aphrodite, and then Haruhime would heal them again, assuming you have a counter healer like that on your team. So this could be the big difference in battle. Like, Epimetheus could be a game changer in Wargame. Big time. His essay is a foes plural ultralight physical attack with ultra on guard rate and temporary great strength boost, removes status buffs in strength and magic, down 50%, all of the above for 4 turns. So, yeah, basically both are just kind of designed to completely inebriate and more or less neuter your opponent in Wargame. Like, both of these builds are really substantial. Counters are foes singular, light physical attack, and extend status debuffs by 1 turn. 45% dark resistance, 35% strength, endurance, agility, and dex, 8% magic and HP attack, and 20% damage on critical and penetration. Now, here's the deal with this, guys. We are not only getting a heroic trial in this bad boy, so you get a free bond to them. You're also going to get a free 4-star ticket, and I don't actually think I have it up here. Do I? Yeah. Okay, no, I don't. But you'll get a free 4-star ticket just for completing the tail. So all you got to do is finish the tail, and you're going to get a free 4-star ticket. So hopefully you get both of them on that 4-star. If not, you can one and done the banner for 400 free Iris, and then walk away. Now, for my whales out there, I know we're about to get a big paid Iris bundle. I know we're going to get a big paid Iris bundle here. It's coming. But here's what I want to remind you. As good as these units are, star bonds are really, really, really precious. And we're getting ready to go into an anniversary where things can change drastically. I would probably, even though I like these units, I wouldn't recommend going terribly deep. Now, we do have the Anniversary Eve bundle here, and I like this Anniversary Eve bundle because you're going to get a 4-star ticket once again for that banner. So you've got a lot of ways you can whale for these units, save your free-to-play Iris for the incoming anniversary if you want to whale for them. This also grants you the Holy Torches for both Ilia and Epimetheus. I believe those are worth 500 CP apiece, I think. So very, very, very worthwhile. And it includes a star bond, which you can save for the anniversary. So personally, I will be buying this. This is 100% happening. And I love this bundle. This bundle is fantastic. So before I ever blow free-to-play Iris on the banners, I'm 100% completing the story and doing this. It's totally, completely worthwhile. Absolutely worthwhile. Love this bundle of these units. Now, here's the deal. I do not expect to max these units out. But the banners are going to be around for quite a bit of time, at least a month. These banners will probably go away right as the anniversary kicks off. So we'll get some information on the first couple of anniversary units. You can see how much Iris you could save. You could, in theory, just stop summoning. The amount of difference these units are going to make in your team isn't really going to differentiate between the wargame that we just had and the wargame that we're going to have next time. Maybe even not the wargame leading up to the anniversary. So you could technically just stop, get what you get, and move on with your day. There's no problem with that. And then before the anniversary drops, if you are able to save enough Iris, then you could hit that banner. But see what you get free to play first. And then look at hitting the banner. Because I'll be honest with you, if you hit that banner tonight, you go all in, and you go into the anniversary with nothing to your name, you're pretty much going to hate life. There's no question about it. You're just absolutely going to hate life. Now, here's the other aspect of this. If you do not want to hit this at all, but you do not have Ilia and Epimetheus from the anniversary last year, this is your best opportunity to get these units. Even if you do one and done 400 free-to-play Iris to get them, Epimetheus will grant you 150. I mean, once again, each unit will grant you up to 150 Iris, but realistically, you will be able pretty much tonight to be able to get 150 total. Not of the 450 that total they get, but the 150 total roughly recouped. So really, if you got both of them tonight, let's see, you got one on the for the sake of argument, you got one on the ticket and one on the first summon. Then you could just walk away happily. You'll recover 300 of that really, really quickly, maybe even more through CP rewards. If you want to know about CP rewards, I've talked about it in multiple videos. Go check those videos out. There's a lot of information out there on CP rewards and how quickly you can recoup Iris. it'll be worthwhile. It'll be worthwhile getting them both if you do not have them from last year. If you have them from last year, there's no shame in just getting the ticket and holding on and waiting to see what's going to happen with the first couple banners of the anniversary. Because those first couple banners of the anniversary should be pretty sweet. They only get better from there. So, you want to go to the anniversary with a lot. Now, here's where I'm going to kind of complicate the situation. Because we are about to get a whole ton of reruns. But along with the tail tonight, we're going to get a ticket where you can hit one of these reruns for free. Now, I will cover this in its own video. This will be its own video. But you can choose gachas here. Notice you've got Epimetheus up there. Now, you do have Prometheus, who I believe Prometheus and Vesta. I'd have to go look again. In fact, I got my game right here. I could be wrong. But I want to say that Prometheus still uses Ilia's CP. I could be wrong on that. But I could find out here real quick. Let's go look for... Wish there's a better way to search in here. So Vesta has her own CP. Epimetheus has his own CP, obviously. Let's see. Where's Ilia? There's a couple of units in here that we're going to get to talk about on this. So... Yukina, Mia. Let's see. So there's Ilia. Now the big question is, does Prometheus have her own, or does it run off of Ilia's? And I do believe it actually runs off of Ilia's. So, oh no, there's Prometheus. So Prometheus is separate. Prometheus is a separate entity. So with this banner I'm talking about right over here. All three of those units are separate CPs. So if you don't have those, that would be the perfect one to use your free-to-play ticket on. Because no matter which one you get, you're guaranteed to get a decent amount of Iris recouped. Now, in total, every single unit that you have that has fresh CP is capable of obtaining a sum total of 450 Iris. Actually, slightly more than that, but... I guess technically if you max the unit completely, you're really talking about 530. And even then there's some like wiggle room in there for slightly more. But you're not going to get all that right out of the gate. If you get them to level 60, you'll get 30. If you get them to level 15 in CP level 15, you're talking on all three, like Bell, Eyes, and Leafia, you're talking 150. So realistically, you're talking just under 200 Iris per unit. But if we just even it out, we say 200 Iris, that's a 600 Iris banner. So if you drop 400 on there, let's say you get the ticket, you get one or two of them, you drop another 400, you get what you get. If you're lucky and you get all three, you're talking a full recoup of 600 free-to-play Iris just for your ticket cost. Now, I will also say, Epimetheus, he's actually the same Epimetheus that's in the banner incoming. But Vesta and Prometheus, that's their only banner. And they're time limited. They may never be back for all we know. Now, I will also say, Talvi, I can't remember her name, and Ridari. It's pretty sad that I can't remember her name, but it is what it is. This Christmas banner here, I feel pretty confident that might actually rerun, but it's under the same basic pretense. Every single one of these units are the only units of their kind in the game. So if you don't have these units, it is worth noting they will likely rerun in December. So you have another 6 months, you're likely to be able to obtain them. They'll also be slightly more obtainable when it comes to paid gachas and things like that. But another 600-ish, significantly more than that realistically, but 600 on the low end per unit, easily obtainable. So, and if you're, once again, if you guys are confused about how that works out, go check out the video I did on CP. I'll try to drop it in the description, but I always forget to. Now, you also have Orna and Adriane, and this will probably be one of the last times you see these units. And this is the only banner with these two units. So here's what I'm going to say, guys. I fully recommend saving as much Iris as you can. But not even just talking about the ticket. When these banners rerun, take a good look at these banners and say, both of these units, I keep mispronouncing her name is this is Orna, and the blonde one is Ariande, I believe is actually how it's pronounced. I always mispronounce her name. But these two units, they only came on one other banner, and I don't think it'll ever rerun. It's highly unlikely to rerun. So if you don't have these two, it's a golden opportunity to get them. Once again, if we go by the 200-ish CP per unit, you're talking about a 400 CP recoup. So one and done, if you're lucky and you get them both, probably not going to, but it's at least worth the one and done because you can recoup your losses pretty quickly. Now, every other banner you kind of see up here with rare exception, probably not time limited, and probably not one you want to really mess with. Now, I do know that Ali is chilling here, but she is not time limited. And there's multiple Allens in the game. Alfric has 2 units in the game, both of which are not time. Well, I actually think one's time limited, but this one's not time limited. Hedon and Hedon and Hegde, these two guys, these are their only units in the game. But all 4 of these, I'll say all 7 of these units, because I know that Otaro's fantastic. They are actually in the general pool, and they can be obtained just using free-to-play tickets. So with your 3-star tickets and all that stuff that you guys have, there is a distinct possibility you could acquire those units. He actually has a 3-star that's really easy to obtain, so I mean, we worry about him. Everybody here, kind of no-brainer. These are just your general units that you can get all over the place. Just about every other banner is. Now, the ones I do want to focus on are the anniversary units. So, let's talk about the anniversary countdowns real quick. We'll go by banner. So, those 2 top banners you can ignore. Ilia, you probably can ignore if, now this is a huge if you're able to get the one out of the current banner. So this banner is kind of a null. Now, I'd love this Haruhime. I would say, arguably, if you don't have this Haruhime, one and done, go after her, and then focus all your prism bonds on her. If you don't have her, you see how often I use her. She's amazing, but she is kind of falling out of favor lately. So I like her. I think she's one and done, and she's probably prism bond worthy, but not going any deeper than that. No matter whether you have her or not. If you do have her, great. If you don't, kind of your last ditch effort to get her. And I would say even then one and done, because the OG is good. She's a good replacement for the OG, but the OG Haruhime will work just fine without needing this unit. So get her off the new banner if you can, and hopefully with the tickets. If you don't have her, one and done, an attempt, and then walk away. Okay? This banner, if you do not have Aphrodite, there is an Aphrodite in the general pool that can be ignored too. So these 3, with the exception of this one, can be completely ignored. I like her. Hopefully you get her off the new banner. So I would say ignore that. Okay? All of these are an easy skip. All 4 of these are an easy skip. Good units, but you want to save your free-to-play Iris for the anniversary. So don't get greedy. This is the so up there at the top, the one you see with Aphrodite and Artemis. There are other Artemis units in the game. They're easy to obtain. They're old units. There's two other Artemis units. That's the free-to-play free-to-play. That's the non-time limited Aphrodite. I think I used free-to-play before, but that's the non-time limited Aphrodite. She's obtainable through the general pool, so if you don't get the other Aphrodite, you can get this one later on. She is really simple to obtain. Don't get greedy. Okay? Obviously, Leafy and Eyes are easy units to come by. Nothing special there. All those units are easy to come by. Nothing special there. And I don't necessarily mean, like, obviously these 2 are time limited for their, as far as the banner units go, but there's plenty of Osphia units in the game. There's plenty of Artemis units in the game. There's one other of him in the game, so I still wouldn't worry about it. Apollo's in the game. Aisha's definitely in the game. Ryu, we know she's in the game. So I would say all 4 of these are an easy skip. Now, let's move on. Okay. So we get down here to, I would say, once again, Revis and Gareth. Both these units are in the general pool. They're easy enough. That's an easy skip. The other one over there is an easy skip. This banner, this one right here, becomes interesting. This is what I was talking about before. Where Talvi over there, Radari, and Vera is her name. Couldn't remember her name before. Radari, Talvi, and Vera are... This is the only banner they've ever come on. Now, I do like the prospects of going after these units, especially because if you notice that the extra draws are... first draw is going to be guaranteed 4-star. The second draw is going to be half price. As I said before, if we go by the rough estimate of 200 CP, easily obtainable within the next month, 200 Iris from CP, easily obtainable within the next month, I would say that banner is totally worth hitting twice. Don't go any deeper. Don't go any deeper. Hopefully you get lucky, but I think that banner will come back around. And if you hit it twice, you can easily recoup your losses. Very, very, very easily. So even if you don't get lucky on the second draw, you can still recoup your 200. That's admittedly, you know, you're lacking 400 there, but 400 will come and go pretty effectively, pretty efficiently. But those units are all time limited, and each one of them are going to be very unique, guaranteed. The rest of these units, she's in the general pool, though that is her only unit. She's in the general pool. Don't get greedy. Don't chase her. Hopefully just pull her later with 3-star tickets if you do not have her. Plus, she'll be on plenty of other banners going forward. Now we get into the Familia Chronicle. And I'm going to say the same thing I said here as I said with the last banner. Okay? While I am aware, Alfric has one other unit, but I think that's time limited. I don't recollect if it is or not, but it doesn't matter. Alfric, Hegni, and Hedon. Hegni, Hedon's all the way in the end. Alfric is the brunette there. All three of those are not time limited. You will eventually get them with 3-star tickets, hopefully. So I would not lose sleep. Winnie has plenty of units in the game. This is the only Gross, but neither one of these are time limited. Don't get greedy. Don't lose sleep. Not worth hitting. Okay? Now, this is where we get into the fun one. I did talk about Epimetheus. This is the only one of two Epimetheus in the game. So if you get Epimetheus on the current banner, walk away. If you do not have Prometheus, you do not have Vesta, this was pretty much your last opportunity to get them. Unless you do like paid banners and stuff like that. So once again, since this is going to be pretty much discounted, it's tough to say do more than one summon, but you are talking about a total recoup. So in the lifetime of the banner, and this is what I want to focus on here. In the lifetime of the banner, you're really talking about roughly 500 free-to-play Iris per unit. But realistically, yeah, I did just say this is a 1,500 free-to-play Iris banner. But realistically, you're not going to recoup that. Not quickly, at least. So realistically, between now and the anniversary, you could potentially recoup 600 or more. So if you go 800 deep and you get all of them, great. But you're not likely to do that. I want to be very, very, very clear about this. If I had to pick, if I don't have all three of these units, this is probably the one that I would blow my ticket on. It's the biggest bang for the buck. You're guaranteed to get somebody you don't have if you don't have these units at all. You're guaranteed to get somebody that's fresh CP that's going to be free to play Iris. So I like this. This would be my pick. Now I'll cover these banners once again as they come up, but you know I wouldn't go crazy. The rest of these banners are pretty much easy skips. All these units are not time limited. All of these units are not time limited, and a lot of these units are just, you know, repeats. Now, the Sacred Flame Festival. Here's the thing, guys. Before you blow free-to-play Iris, if you are somebody that's willing to drop a few bones on the game, the Sacred Flame Festival is for you. Okay? Each draw is 400 paid Iris. You are guaranteed at least one 4-star unit of your choosing of 3. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to come in here. Let me see if I have the screen here. I do. So you grab one adventure, a second adventure, and an assist. Okay? Now, when you summon, you're guaranteed at least one of these 3. I've gotten doubles on this bad boy before. I have gotten really, really, really lucky on this. And it's almost only the anniversary units. So any of those units that I said are free-to-play CP, you really do want to grab those units. They're so incredibly worthwhile. Hope this makes sense, guys. It's a lot to take in, a lot to discuss. I'll cover these later on. We're getting the new outfits. There is 4-star ticketage in here, but I was going to talk about it, but I think it'd be better to talk about that in its own video, in its own right. But let's just go over this one more time, make things easy, okay? So you're going to get one of these banners, a ticket to run to pull in them free to play. So pay close attention. Now, these 2 are anniversary banners. If you don't have Aphrodite, there's a free-to-play Aphrodite. You want my honest opinion? If you don't have Ilia on the new banner, go after Ilia. And Haruhime is the one major exception here. If you don't have her, it's worth getting at least one. And I did say Prism Bonds before. It's actually Star Bonds. I'm sure somebody's already screamed about that in the comments. It is Star Bonds you can use on her, but Star Bonds are easy enough to obtain free-to-play as well. All of these, not time limited. And he's even got a 3-star unit that's easy to obtain. Okay? Not time limited. These 2 are not time limited. And there's no one here that's really, like, exclusive. Artemis has other units in the game. I wouldn't lose sleep. Okay? The only exception here, this is time limited. This is like a Christmas banner. It probably will come back around in December. So I would hedge bets on the fact that these 3 are going to come back around at some point. I mean, for goodness sakes, it was popular enough that their whole story got turned into a manga. So I feel pretty confident. That they'll come back around shortly. So they're like if you have everybody else from last year's anniversary, they're like the last step. But remember, all 3 are fresh CP. These are the only 3 units, and they're time limited. So remember, just like I said with the Vesta and Epimetheus banner, same thing applies. Okay? All these units are not time limited, though you do have 1, 2, 3 pieces of unique CP here. And even Alfric only has 2 units in the game, so... But I would still say, unless you're desperate for CP, I would stick with the time-limited units to be fair. And then this becomes the banner absolutely to hit otherwise. Because, let's face it, only one of her, only 2 of him, the other one's time-limited, and the only one of her. So, hopefully this makes sense. Okay, and Ali's not time limited. Ali will be obtainable at some point, so I don't lose sleep on Ali, and those are all free to play. So hopefully this makes a lot of sense. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. But the long and the short of it is, if you want just a basic guideline here, only hit time limited banners, because non-time limited, you will basically be able to obtain those. And only hit units that are unique CP. Units that you don't have. You can go into the character list, you can see what units you have, what units you don't have. If they're not fresh CP, if they're not time limited, don't waste your free-to-play Iris. You need 8 to 12,000 going into the anniversary. So if that panics you a little bit, maybe it's just time to save. But the one thing I do want you to know is when it comes to unique CP, case in point, this banner, if you don't have her, you don't have him, you don't have her, you can net a good amount of profit just by farming up items and upgrading those units. I will do a video on that coming out here really, really soon. It'll probably be out about the first of the month. That's usually when I do that. There's a lot to talk about, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.